So there's a lot of information out there on AI, and I guess companies trying to get into seeing how this could benefit their business. Where do you suggest people start when embarking on implementing artificial intelligence in big businesses?
So that question obviously comes up a lot. I guess to answer that properly, let's just first be clear who's asking the question, right? So, for example, if it's a big corporate, it's a very different answer, and that's kind of the answer I'll give you, as opposed to a fintech. And there will obviously be some basics that a fintech would also do as well, a startup fintech, for example. But from a big corporate point of view, again, it goes back to the fundamentals of going, you first always start with, what problem do you need to solve? That if you solve this problem, it'll give you really massive commercial upside. And again, anyone who's not starting there with, whatever you can use, things like design thinking, whatever techniques you use to kind of, really clarify what your core problem is, what the customers you're serving need to solve, where those key threats that maybe you haven't started to kind of unpack, etc. I think that's like starting place one. And I think anyone running a big corporate would kind of realize that and not get over kind of, infatuated, so to speak, with the idea of big data and AI, but rather go, what do we need to solve for that can be commercially viable? Because what we have seen is big businesses will spend a lot of money on big data, but that doesn't necessarily mean that what they've solved for is going to make them massive commercial upside. And that's I think, step one. Then the next step would be, okay, let's just say we realize, yes, we actually do need to make sense of, big data. We need to have an AI team, etc. Then the next big question goes, okay, what are the skills we need? Do we have the right skills? For example, one business is working with, they had, lots and lots of data, and they were actually a data company. But the challenge they had is they had loads of programmers, but these were not guys who were data scientists and understood data. So they had to really upskill the whole company. And sometimes it means people might become redundant. But I think a key journey on that map that a lot of people overlook to their detriment is the sort of, call it, for lack of a better word, the change management process that's needed. In other words, to go, you're basically saying to you and me, if we're in that company, you're saying, hey guys, hey Akiva, hey Ruan, your skill set is no longer going to help our company to the next level. So instead of kicking you out, let's actually upgrade you. And there are amazing programs and courses, etc., that you can do on data skills, data information, understand what this new data environment is, and then bring in new mentors who can help the business, again, just see where the real opportunities are, what are the immediate quick wins you can get in the business, etc. How do you now get all these different silos, if it's a big business, to actually just something as simple, never mind the data, just how do you get these different silos to now collaborate across business units? And really, one thing we've seen again, it all starts with the CEO, and the senior executive team who have a vision, and they now realize that actually, hang on, the new vision, me as a CEO, I might not be that au fait with this new environment. So how do I quickly get some mentors in to help me relearn and actually get educated, and then educate my executive team? And when I say educated, that they actually start to get familiar with this new language. I mean, the best analogy I heard years ago was, it's kind of like, imagine you send the two of us to China to do business. And we get there and we know no Chinese at all. We don't have Google Translate or anything. So how are you going to really do business? You don't speak the language. You're not going to understand the nuances. But if you do, like the new language of data and data science and AI, suddenly you see, as a business developer, for example, someone who drives sales and growth, you're going to see opportunities which you're going to go, oh my God, we can go over there, or we can do that, etc. So that's, I think, a core fundamental place. Get educated, and don't be embarrassed. We're all getting educated. And my take is, anyone who's not being re-educated like every month, I mean, I'm continuously trying to expose myself to new stuff and new people and new learning. I think you're dead. To put it really kind of bluntly, So
yeah, I think that's such a key point is you can't just jump into this. It's this really literacy across the organization. Then people can start talking this new language and uncover new opportunities.